All right. Well, we're going to dive in. Last week, we talked about fact finding and lead generation, everything. And now it's just moving more on to the estimating and proposal process. So, one of the most important things to estimating is how to optimize time and efforts to land more business and also to be more profitable, of course. So, how can we maximize estimating? I'd say number one is utilize any kind of measuring software. So that has saved us a ton of time. It's eliminated us an entire position just by being able to utilize an estimating software in our company. So for those that utilize some of the services that I help with consulting, I kind of share how we do that, and it costs $0 a month for that estimating software, which is available to everyone in the U.S. So just that alone has been able to eliminate altogether the back and forth of going to a house, talking to somebody, driving back, putting a proposal together, sending an estimate where you can get their information, send it in a couple of seconds, and land that contract. Another thing we talked about a little bit last week too was booking the meetings in one day. So fill that schedule with a Friday first. So we do Friday or Thursday. Put all of those meetings into one day. And then that way, Monday through Thursday, you can still fill in any gaps. You can still put in, a 1 o'clock if you have a 2 o'clock. So you can still utilize all of that and then overflow into the next day or the previous day. So what that does is it keeps you focused on if you're in the field doing production or if you're in the office doing office work, it lets you be able to focus on that and not have to leave halfway through to go meet somebody, right? So by having just one driving day where you're knocking out all of your meetings, it is more efficient and you're not getting sidetracked from what you should be doing. And people understand it. I mean, we tell people all the time, hey, our next available appointment's Friday at 2 p.m. Okay, how about at 10? Okay, well, I can do 10 a.m. on Friday also, or if that's the only time they can do it, then do it on a Thursday. If it's a big commercial contract, you want to make time for them, right? But if you're just trying to fill it residential, or you can still fill them into that full time, that full day, utilize that because that's going to keep you more efficient, less sidetracked, and just you're in the mode of talking to people. So what comes out is also a better flow. It's something that works really well, and just to utilize it keeps you focused. The next is just what other opportunities. So with the whole estimating process, it's where can you find the inefficiencies, right? So what other opportunities can your clients submit the information to you? So this is something that we utilized a long time ago as well, but can the client send you an email with the pictures of if it's a down tree, if it's trimming, landscaping, whatever it is there certain services that they could send you pictures of via your website or email that you don't have to drive out there? Can you have a picture of a back bed that needs cleaned up from a couple different angles, and you might be off a little bit based off your cleanup price or your mulch price, but it saved you at least an hour plus driving and talking to somebody and estimating, where you could take that information, put in an estimate, and shoot it right off and get that quicker turnaround time to land the bid. So that's something as well. It doesn't work for everything. I mean, you're not going to use that for mowing or fertilizing, but for landscaping or Christmas lights, stuff like that, you can easily get that stuff. With all of those, qualifying the buyer, right? So when they first call in, and when you meet with them too, when you're putting together the estimate, trying to find out what they're serious about and if it's a good match to work with you. So like what's their budget, right? Is it even something worth estimating if their budget is $1,000 for a $10,000 landscape? When do they need it by? If they need a cleanup and mulch and they expect you to meet at their house, first ask them, okay, when you need this by, is there a deadline? If it's by May 15th for graduation, but you're already booked out 2 months, you can let them know, and then it eliminates that whole time you just put into estimating their job. So those two are really big. And then also just sharing what your minimum price is. Okay, our minimum price to come out is going to be $250 to $300 for a cleanup. If somebody was expecting $100, you already don't have to worry about estimating it, right? So you're qualifying them with all these questions. And when you understand and implement those questions, not only are you going to save time, but you're going to find and land better clients that align with your top personas, the people you want to do business with. Because everybody else, like they could be searching for budget contractors, right? They could be searching for the person that could do something for $20 an hour. So you want to qualify with those questions before you put the time and effort into estimating for whatever service they're going to have. So with the estimating is kind of putting all that information together. Now for proposals, there's a couple different ways to do it. So the first is with Jobber, with QuickBooks, with all those bookkeeping services. You can do that by breaking down each service, right? Which is probably what most of us do. And with that, you're going to see the detailed lines, the detailed prices. So I like this avenue for residential customers and some smaller commercial. It gives you an opportunity to put in more detail and they can see exactly what they're getting. The downside is they see exactly what you're charging for each service. And then they can take that price and say, okay, you're $60 for mowing or $40 for whatever, fertilizing. I'm going to compare it with this company over here, comparing price and not apples to apples. So it's good for a lot of things for residential, especially. I still recommend doing that. But if there's ways to combine multiple services into one lump sum, that's a better option if you have a higher end client or a commercial. So with option one, just breaking it down by service. So no matter what, descriptions are key, right? So we need to always have in these estimates what's included, what's not included in the price. What's the total number or average number of services that they're going to get with that price? What's the detailed descriptions of each service? And then there's disclaimers. Okay, what if you're doing landscaping or Christmas lights or irrigation, what unforeseen damages could arise that you're not liable for? You have to have all of that written out. When you're excavating or digging or bed edging, do you have in there that you're not responsible for anything that's not marked, like buried downspouts or dog fences or utility lines, stuff like that? Because it's all going to cover you in the case that something does happen. And then just having the disclaimer of what's auto renewing. So if you auto renew mowing, put that in that description line. If you auto renew fur, is there something in there that shows that prices are subject to change, especially in today's day and age? So all of those should be in a disclaimer. They could either be in the line item itself or the very bottom of the estimate. So this is something that's got us out of a lot of damages, especially if we can't even see it. We try our best not to do any damages, but you know how the industry is. Something happens, something's buried, it's not supposed to be buried, and it gets damaged, we're not at fault. And also just on with the estimates, make sure to include, we talked about cross-selling last time. So other accompanying services, we put this on almost every estimate. So if somebody's even just calling in for mowing or just for fertilizing, we'll send them that estimate, but below that, we'll put other accompanying services, and then we'll list out fertilizing, aeration, sprinkler turn-on, sprinkler winterization, what other services tie into that main one. Because you'd be surprised how many people will just sign up for, hey, you're fertilizing, I didn't know you do that. I didn't know you did sprinklers too. Sign us up for that. So just by offering those added services in addition to what they called in for is key. I mean, those are things that are quick, easy cross-sells, upsells, whatever it may be, but they didn't know about it before. So this is where we have to help inform the customer. We're informing them of everything we're doing and what we recommend with that program. If they're doing fertilizing, we really recommend pest control. If they're doing fertilizing, aeration overseeding, it's going to help the process and the program overall. So those are things that we try to include on every single estimate in hopes that we can create a better property for the customer. And then also just any kind of payment options. So they know that they can see the price, right? But do you also have in there what it would be if they prepaid for a discount? Is there monthly budget plan description? So you can make line items for all of those things. If you want to take all of that and then just type it in each time, you can. So if your bill is going to be $10,000 for the year, monthly budget plan, 10,000 divided by 12 is this many equal payments. So whatever you can do to just help answer questions on the front end before the customer calls you, and then ask what your payment descriptions are or details are down the road, it's going to eliminate time. It's going to eliminate the back and forth. And then do they need to have an ACH on file? Can you do auto pay? What else can you attach to that estimate, like an ACH form, which we send out with every single estimate? Because then if they fill it out, they want to prepay, great. We already signed them up. It eliminates a phone call, a back and forth email. So it still reduces time. So those are with the single services that you can break out. With combined services, like I was saying, for larger commercials, for people that want all services 12 months out of the year. So these are for those contracts and also for like landscape projects. So these are where you want to have probably an attorney, or I can help with a commercial template as well. But you have to have wording in there to protect both parties. So there's two reasons why you would lump all that in, right, into one pricing. So one is to show them what their monthly payments could be. They don't really care about how much a mowing costs, but they want to see how much would we pay or invest each month. They want to know it's going to be $900 a month. Okay, great. If everything's taken care of in your description, we can do that. They don't have to worry about adding up each thing or seeing what everything is to see what they're going to pay for the end of the year. And it also protects you, like I said before, from price shopping. So if you're really high on mowing compared to a different company, they're going to see that first instead of just seeing an overall bundle of the total service price. So it allows you just to show them what the total cost would be, break it down, and including all the descriptions too. So for these, I really recommend probably doing like a Word document, a PDF that has their client logo big in the center of the cover page. They want to see their name. If it's hotel, Marriott Hotels, estimate provided by Elkhorn Lawn Care. So they want to see that. And then as you go through, you want to detail every single service that you're offering. Don't put the prices in there, but just detail every single one. It's going to be 32 mows a year. The 6-step application includes this, 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 this. We'll be aerating in the fall, overseeding in the fall with this type of product. So it has all those details. It's also going to have the terms of the contract, right? So when is it starting? How long is it going? How's payment working? All that stuff. Any disclaimers as well. But that's where you really want an attorney to help us with all of that for legally binding content, just so it covers your end as well. So I've seen in my last probably 5 years that putting together that type of proposal, from switching all the commercials over to that, our closing rate is much higher than just sending them a general estimate, because that shows them exactly, it separates you from the competition. So if they can see a nice PDF proposal with everything, and sometimes I'll even print it out, laminate it, take it to them, bind it, you just look a little bit more professional, and they're seeing exactly what they want to see. It's a legal contract, which a lot of people won't spend the money for, so they know that you're really serious in working with them going forward. So it's just, what would you want to see if you had a large company, if you had a large property? Would you want just an emailed estimate sent over, or would you want something that looks a little bit more robust, more professional, more detailed than just a one-page estimate? So no matter how you're going about it, I mean, there's still things that you're going to learn year to year. There's always something that changes. There's something you're going to update. There's something that's going to be more efficient. There's going to be a disclaimer you're going to put in once you mess something up or damage something one time. You're going to want to add that into the next time, because that's happened. That's most likely is every single disclaimer that's going to be in your estimate or your contracts. So just know that it's not solid. It's always fluid. It's going to be changing all the time. It's going to be something that you're constantly going to be updating. So find out what works, what doesn't work, what avenues you can reduce times, what questions you can try to eliminate on the front end, what time that you can stop the back and forth with people, make it as easy as possible to sign up. I know Jobber, you can accept an estimate right away, so that's really key. But your time is valuable. So the less time you're spending interacting and answering questions and driving back and forth, it's all going to increase profitability. So those are probably the main keys for proposals and estimating. I'd be happy to help with anybody on putting those together, different disclaimers that you might have. I've seen a lot of them, so it's something that it's something just to cover all of our butts, right? It's something to make sure that we're profitable and we're not doing more work than we should be or less work than what the customer expects.